pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any members of the public wish to speak at this time?
Scott Richner, 16 Pratt Street. I just wanted to touch on something that you talked about a couple meetings ago about surplusing village equipment through an auction site. There's actually a local company in Morrisonville that does it, and that's who the city of Plattsburgh surpluses their stuff through. So I didn't know if that was something that you could look into, so you could go through a local business to do it. And his auctions are online, nationwide. I talked to him, and the city of Plattsburgh surplus tobacco, and it's headed to Texas. So, I mean, it's basically the same platform, but you'd be actually dealing with a local person instead of the nameless, faceless website.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if that was something you wanted to look into.
Do you have his contact information?
I do. I can get it to you.
Okay, I'd like to see that.
Sure. Sure.
Because I like to keep it local.
Yeah. Yeah.
Understand. So we'll just put that thing back in that box there. Anybody else from the public? Okay, minutes of previous meeting.
Make a motion the minutes of the meeting to be accepted as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There is some supplemental list of bills in addition to the bills that we've got today. This is just trying to get a bunch of stuff paid before the end of the billing cycle, end of the budget cycle. Is there any additions?
Well, I just want to add the 2 wire transfers that I did last week to Stafford Nolan's trust account, $135,800. It was the first one. The second one was $1,990.01. That's for the land purchase for the water plant.
Because we've closed on that now, and now we can actually start to finish the design phase of the project now that we have the property.
Make a motion to accept the bills, pay the bills.
All in favor? Oh, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We go.
We got 2 out of 4
You
people
say
here
aye.
today. Oh, you said, oh, I didn't hear you, sorry. Okay. Carries. Correspondence?
We got one letter that I put into everybody's packet from the Environmental Facilities Corporation. This is the same place that we got a grant from a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, the engineering grant to do the testing of our storm sewers and sanitary sewers. They did the smoke testing and what have you to determine what work needs to be done on the sewers. This is an extension of that. It's actually another round of that. It's an engineering grant again, but it will be to test further into the village because there are only certain streets that were done the first time around. So this will be for the testing. So at this point, we still don't have a grant for the repair and replacement, but if we have these done, then we will have a shovel-ready project so that when better grants come out for that sort of work, we can apply for those grants. One of the reasons we're actually holding on to this is to see what our finances are gonna look like as we go through the water plant funding situation. We don't wanna add another grant where we're responsible for like 50% or something like that while we're trying to get the funding for the water plant done. So this will be further engineering. We've got some time to work with it. I'm gonna have a phone meeting with Jason Ballard from Barton and LaJudas next week about how we might work this out. They have offered to allow us on this grant to kind of stockpile the bills through the first half of the grant and not pay them until we get the 50%. because this is how this grant pays 50% at a time, and then we would pay all of those bills. So we're working at ways that we can do something like this to be ready without it hitting the finances of the village in a difficult way. So this is just a letter saying that we have been selected for the grant, and we have until October actually to go through the steps they want and to provide the paperwork. So we'd have to do a seeker and have the executed engineering agreement done and that sort of stuff. So we've got until October that we'll be working on this. But I wanted it to come to the board early so that you know it's something that's pending. And basically determine if you think it's a good idea to go ahead and do the next step of the engineering for that.
Pending the finances and everything.
Right. I think it's a good idea, just a matter of, yeah.
What are matches?
I mean, the more
Right, for this
information we
particular
get,
grant,
the
our
better.
match is 20%.
20%?
Right. So it's up to $30,000, so our match could be up to $6,000.
That's pretty good, because usually it's like 50% from what I've seen so far. 20% is pretty good. Okay. That's all the correspondence for today?
That's it, thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna start with resolution 2021-12. Whereas the Board of Trustees deems it advisable to make certain modifications to 2020 to 2021 year village budget, be it thereby resolved that the treasurer is authorized and directed to make the following modifications to the village budget for fiscal year 2020 and 2021. These are mostly changes to the previous budget, reflecting money that was spent on, like the water project, the land purchase, and a few other things that have already been approved on in the bills, just modifying the budget. Anybody have any questions? Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second?
Trustee Arno?
Aye.
Trustee Menard?
Aye.
Trustee Pelkey?
Aye.
Trustee Rodriguez is not here today, and Mayor votes aye. Although it still says Gadway on this.
I used the old resolution. I'll have to change that.
Okay. Ethan sent me an email because there was talk about putting locks on the dugouts out back and the doors. Ethan said it wasn't a good idea, because he's worried about people kicking the doors down. So it's better to just leave them unlocked, and they might put a bit of trash in there or smoke in there or something, but it's better than them kicking the doors down and causing actual physical damage to the building.
Yeah, but the only trouble is if they break the toilet in there and stuff like that, that's gonna be costly.
Yeah.
Is there a toilet in the dugouts, or is there?
No.
No.
Oh,
It's just,
Oh, okay.
it's just a dugout, right?
Yeah, it's just a
oh,
place to
just a
sit.
dug, oh, just for the kids to sit in,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to sit.
So just a baseball dugout, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
not that people haven't been using it for a bathroom, but.
Yeah. It's used to clean it, then replace a door. So that's what Ethan emailed me. So we closed on the property last week. That's basically the update on the land purchase for that, is it's all closed, property's now ours. Update on 43 Chapman Street is there's one car,
Mr. Mayor?
one van.
Can I ask a question in regard to that? Has the insurance company been notified?
Yeah, well, we do need to have a little discussion about that as well.
Okay.
So whether we do an executive session or not, I don't care.
Do you think it needs to be done in executive session, or we can just
No, it probably doesn't need to be really, quite frankly. So, last week, I mean, our son and I had a conversation, what day it was, our son, Wednesday or something like that.
Wednesday and Thursday?
Technically, I didn't even receive the package from ERS with the proposed closing documents until Thursday. There were a couple of documents that were missing, just miscellaneous title affidavits and stuff that we needed them to provide. we're supposed to be receiving them. So technically, we haven't formally closed yet, just to be correct. I mean, and I haven't talked to you, Mayor, so you didn't know anything about that, but I would expect, I should have those by tomorrow, so I would say tomorrow, we should be able to record everything. I've got the funds ready, as Arsen indicated, he wired the purchase price. The second wire, just so everybody knows, was for the closing costs, because initially he just wired what was the balance that was needed, but not like for the title insurance, the recording costs for the county clerk, those kind of things. So I would expect everything to be finalized really tomorrow. I emailed Attorney Stalcup tonight, actually, or late this afternoon, just to kind of verify we're gonna get those tomorrow. I don't think I heard back from him, but we're on track to. So I would expect everything to be finalized tomorrow. So when that is done, I'll reach out to Arsen and let him know, okay, we're good, then the insurance can be kicked in. I can let you know tomorrow, Arsen, what the actual acreage is there, because I have a pretty accurate survey map showing the acreage. Address-wise, I still don't really know if I have the answer, but I would tell the insurance company, I think, is just refer to the street it's on, and then maybe the tax map ID number and the acreage, and, I mean, that's the best we can do, short of, you know, we're not gonna get a 911 address until we really get a building permit or something like that, and then that'll kick in. But that's how I would identify it as far as for the insurance company.
Good.
So I would hope that would all be finalized tomorrow, and then everything gets filed. I've got the funds, I have the actual closing documents, I'm still waiting, I wanted to have everything that I needed from them before I filed everything.
Okay.
So, I don't mean to, I'm sorry to
No.
correct you, and we haven't had a conversation about that, but that's certainly one of the things I was gonna talk about tonight.
Thank you. Okay. Update on 43 Chapman Street. Most of the vehicles have been removed. There's one car, one van, and some smaller things are left on the property. So they're making good progress on cleaning it up, which is good.
Has the fire investigation been completed, as far as we know?
Yeah,
Has it been?
When are they
As
gonna
far
start
as I know.
taking the building down?
that I don't know.
Any word on that, John?
I've had two people come down and inquire about the building, and there's a couple of things that I really want done. I want the property, the way I phrased it to them, but Dave hasn't said anything to them, but when they root the property, I don't want them to fill the hole with bricks, because it'll no longer be a good building lot. So I'm trying to get that through their heads, that when they take that get down to the foundation, fill in with regular fill, not all the bricks and stuff out of the building. And I have two people down and inquire about it. That's what had to be done. Dave hasn't contacted me about if the insurance company has chose anyone yet or not. So it's kind of up in the air there.
But before a demolition permit can be issued, John, I think they have to do an asbestos.
Yeah, well, first you gotta get some bids on it, and that's all part of it.
Okay, all right, we have to have an asbestos study done on the building, so we know if there's any in there, whether it's the roofing materials, the flooring, the brick, you know, whatever, I mean, we don't know until, that's gotta be checked out before it gets demolished.
Because a lot of places used to use the asbestos floor tiles.
Yeah, roofing
And
materials.
roofing.
Yeah, roofing materials. Never mind asbestos on pipes in there, who knows what else, but.
Yeah, general building.
Okay, Civic Center roof. Ethan has noticed some bad spots in the roof, and we've had a couple of leaking issues. Rodriguez and I are gonna meet with Ethan tomorrow. We're gonna get a list of people to send requests for quotes from, or get requests for quotes from. And we're gonna sit down, we need specifications and a list of places, and then we can send it all out. Start getting prices on it.
Price on what, to get it fixed?
It's the new roof.
Ooh.
Yeah, because the roof, he's identified bad spots throughout the entire roof. John thinks we've got a little while, the mechanic, he thinks we've got a little while, but we're starting this process so that we know what it's gonna, roughly what it's gonna cost, and maybe if we can do it this year, maybe we can do it next year. But start the planning.
Where are we gonna get the money for that this year? We should have somebody come in and take a look at the roof and, a professional roofer, and
Yeah.
assess it and see if it can be repaired or if it needs to be replaced.
Yeah, that's part of this, is we're gonna be contacting a few roofers to have them look at it, and we wanna get prices from them and what it would cost. we're not actually going out and getting a new roof right now, we're just starting the process.
Well, the first thing you need to do is get someone, the roofers, to look at the holes and repair them. I mean, if we're gonna leave it there, up there for another year or two, we have to at least repair the holes.
Yeah.
Well, we sealed that 12,
We sealed
15
that.
years ago. There's a rubber sealer that they put on the roof. They sprayed it on, which they weren't supposed to do, they were supposed to roll it on. And so, but we still got, what, Brian? Must be
8 pails maybe of it?
8, 9 pails of 5-gallon pails of that roofing steel left down to the village office.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that stuff, because that was 12 years ago.
Yeah, it says right on it, it was a 10-year guarantee. It's like a rubberized coating that you're supposed to roll on, and it's been 10 years, so it needs to be coated again, of course.
Yeah.
And when they
Yeah.
coat it, they check the screws, make sure that everything is halfway decent. And like I said, the coating, it says right on the pail, 10-year guarantees on, warranty.
Who did the job last time, Brian, you know?
I think it was Theodore Stay.
Okay, so
That's been,
they're no longer in business.
no, it's been a while, so it's been 12, it was when George Rivers was here, so it was
Okay.
12, 15 years ago
So
probably.
you're probably talking like Lake Champlain Roofing or something like that?
Yeah.
Like commercial?
Yeah, I
Those
noticed
would be the
that
closest.
there's commercials that are on TV, how they're showing how they spray these commercial buildings on Channel 5. I seen it tonight before. I think.
Yeah, that was Vermont.
Yeah, but.
Or you have Rod Roofing or
Rod
something like that?
roofing, yeah, I seen that commercial,
Yeah,
but
right.
maybe
Yeah, I've seen
that's
it.
all it needs is another coating, I mean.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe.
Yeah, and we won't
Hopefully.
know till we get a professional in to look at it.
We just need to find a few professionals to contact.
Lake Champlain,
We're on roofing
Well-
there.
Lake Champlain Roofing is located right down on Route 9 and technically, I guess, probably Deacontown.
I mean,
You got gates.
even if you contact Lake Champlain Roofing just to come up and look at it and see what, you know, they'll tell you, you know, how
Yeah, I
much.
mean,
They'll
there's
give you an
always-
estimate
that's
before
just
they do
going
anything.
line.
It's not
Yeah, we got
costing.
Gates Roofing,
Yeah, you got Gates in Plattsburgh also,
I'm sure there's other companies.
yeah.
Supernal Motors, he does roofing, stuff like that.
He does commercial. but-
Commercial, yeah. He does commercial too.
Is there a company name with Supernova? Or is that the name of the name?
Supernova.
Supernov Construction.
Supernova Construction.
Supernal Construction, Motors.
I mean, back in the day, it used to be like Monahan Lockman, but I don't think they're around anymore.
I don't think they are either. Yeah. I was thinking of them, but I don't think they're in business anymore.
So we got Rod Roofing, Lake Champlain Roofing, Gates Roofing, Supernova Construction. Any other names?
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot more than that, but
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but I mean, if you start there,
It's a good place to start.
Yeah, the company Rod Roofing is in, I don't know where they are.
It's in
Vermont, they're
Vermont,
in
yeah.
somewhere.
St. Albans, I think it was.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so contact them, have them come over here, look at it, give us some quotes, tell us whether it needs to actually be replaced or just resealed.
Because that roof is, when it was put on, they sprayed that insulation up in there. So you're talking a major overhaul if you take that tin off.
Oh, we can't take the tin off.
No.
We'd have to be putting something over it if we can. Because all the insulation's sprayed up
Sprayed
inside,
right
so
through
we
it,
take the
right.
tin off, we open the building up
Right.
completely to the environments, because there's no decking. They just straight put a roof on.
Yeah, guess what your options are.
Yeah, we'll have to.
We'll figure it out as we figure out what our options are. There's another thing. Oh, yeah, because Trustee Rodriguez is not here today. So for the park benches, there's no grant yet, but Ethan has moved some of the park picnic tables and park benches that were under the pavilion to the ends of the parks for people to use. Also, Trustee Rodriguez, when he told me he wasn't gonna be here, he mentioned that you, Brian, went to Rodriguez about starting a program where village residents can buy a bench to put in the park with a donation plaque.
Well, What we talked about was, because there was no benches available, I was told yesterday that there is 4 available through the health department. So they're looking at putting 2 at the pickleball court, and they're gonna put 2 at the playground equipment to start. But Lisa Turner is working to, hopefully secure some more, or like where the shuffleboard, there's spots for 2 more up there. And we could use 2 more at the playground equipment. I had residents come up to me and said that they wouldn't have a problem buying a bench and putting a little plaque on it, like donated by the village resident or in memory of somebody, if we ever had to come to that. They're willing to purchase them for us. But I think we should continue with the grants, and hopefully the health department will come through with us, with Lisa Turner, and I know Jan's been working with her, so.
I think that's a good idea.
That's good.
But, you know, we don't wanna say no to anybody that wants to help, you know.
Yeah.
If they feel that they wanna donate, well, let that be our last option, you know, let's see if we can get our grant money, and that was about it.
I like the idea of the memorial park benches for people.
Yeah, put a little plaque on the side in memory of, or donated
What
by.
they did down to the state dock
Yes,
for Roberts.
yes, there's one down there. But it'd be nice to keep them all the same with the resin, because there's no maintenance to them.
Oh, yeah.
Where the wooden ones, we have to stain them every couple of years, and these resin ones are, I mean, they're really nice. I mean, the one behind my house, it's just, it's like the day they put it there.
They'll last for practically an eternity.
Yeah, so, I think that's the way to go, is stay with the resin benches. So,
There's also no lag bolts for anyone to take out when they're messing with the benches either, with the resin one. Okay, and requesting an executive session,
Second.
all in favor say aye.
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 Trustee Arno?
The first one is, the mini splits at the fire station are half done. They're waiting for the electric crew to put in the power, and then they can do the rest of their work. The rec center personnel did an excellent job on painting the gazebo by the village office. I'd like to thank them. They're a really good job they've done. What else I got here? Oh. Did we have the tank inspection?
yes,
Water tank
yes.
inspection? How did that turn out?
we're waiting for the report back.
Oh,
I talked to Dan today, and,
I didn't get a chance to talk to Dan, so,
they're gonna give us a detailed report on what their findings, but everything went very well.
oh, good,
No, they're very, you know,
excellent,
Tank's in pretty good shape.
yeah. My master key, it doesn't work on the back door of the village office. I can't get in.
That makes 2 of us, because mine doesn't work half the time either.
yeah, there's something wrong with that
Yeah.
lock.
You know.
It was really bad in the winter. I had to get Dan to let me in several times.
Well, that's what I said too. If I go down to check the fire truck on Monday nights or something like that, I go to use my key, I can't get in, and I get my paperwork, if I go after work, I can't get in.
I think we need to have Rick's Locks and Keys come up and take a look at that one.
So,
He usually maintains all our lock system. I think it needs lubricating inside,
you know,
because if you turn it, it turns hard, and you can open it, but you're afraid to break your key.
yeah,
New tone.
I think Danny already oiled it, because he said he was going to.
it still doesn't work. I tried it,
Yeah.
I tried it, it still
Might
doesn't
need a
work.
new tumbler or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
May says that, the guy come take a look at it.
Yeah.
I'd like the, executive session on the history of a particular person.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 And the last one, did we ever get electrical inspection for ERS?
John?
Yeah, JFP dropped one off.
Yeah, we did?
Yeah. When I went up and inspected it, I'm pretty sure I got it right over there on file. And he come in and he wanted the permit, I put the permit, so.
So Jason Electric, department should have a copy of that.
I believe so.
Okay.
I can check first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a call.
Alrighty. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Menard?
I had one thing this evening, we're doing a construction project up at the school, and in that process, we're building a new, track, and we're taking the old track out, so the Clark Construction was going to discard the old fencing, so I asked if we could have it, and so we have new fencing for our dog park. We get about 1,500 feet of vinyl coated fencing, 4-foot fencing, so, and the piping. So we don't need that much, so I also notified the town of Champlain that if they needed some of the fencing, that they could come up, just get with Adam, because we put it up by the sewer plant. So we have fencing for our dog park. And they were happy to donate it, they were happy to get rid of it, so it's all up by the sewer plant, so at some point in time, we can figure out where we're gonna put the dog park and put some fencing up.
And since this is a donation, do we need to do a,
No,
we don't? Okay, just making sure we didn't need to do a board motion approving it. And thank you for calling. Dale, thank you for calling me and letting me know.
yep,
So
no
we can get
problem,
that done.
no problem, and that's all I have for the evening.
Trustee Pelkey?
Yes, first thing I want to do is I want to thank John Mott and Billy Obery for going down at the pier and diving for the parts that were vandalized down at the bollards. They retrieved the bollards out of the bottom of the lake. So they brought them back to me, and I brought them back to the electric department, and it was nice of them. They were out diving for their moorings and their breakwaters, so at the time they went over and they took care of that for us. So special thanks to those two guys. Yep. Okay, the tank inspection went well. Okay, last meeting, the mayor brought up about Danny Gay and Eric going to a course in Oneonta.
Yeah.
They wanna scrap that now. They're able to take that course online. So they don't have to travel, we don't have to pay hotel, we don't have to pay meals. They could take the whole same course, and it's $100 each, and eventually, all the water plant operators and the wastewater operators have to have this course. So they made it available through the AWWA that they can take these courses online. So, and it's not like, it's a 7-hour course, but you could take like 3 hours of it, and you could stop, say if you had to go do something, you can go log back on and take the other 4 hours. The only kicker is the AWA wants their money up front, so it has to be charged through their credit cards, rather than a voucher. So Dan wants to know if that's okay. I mean, I'll put it in the form of a motion.
I'm good with it. Don't we have a credit card in the office that they can use instead of their own? Yeah. So we don't have to, we can use the village credit cards, they don't have to use their own for that.
Well, they have their own village credit
Oh,
card in their own name.
Their own department.
Right, their own department.
Okay.
But I think it's a good savings, because, I mean, you don't have to send them down to Oneonta, and you don't have to pay for a hotel room, you don't have to pay for the meals.
You don't
They
have to
can
cover
do-
for them.
Huh?
I said, you don't have to cover for
You
them.
don't have to cover for them if there's an emergency, they're still here, so I'd like to put that in the form of a motion to approve those two to take their online course.
I'll second that.
The $200.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye. I like that, because it means they also don't have to leave home, which is always nice.
Yes. I talked to Danny today, and if you guys have been up to the wastewater plant, those aerators are pretty old. He's been trying to buy them and fix the shafts. The shafts are $8,800 each for a shaft. And they're using the existing motor, the existing floats. So they don't make the shafts anymore, of course. So he found this new company that he's working on where they send you the shaft, the stainless steel floats rather than the plastic floats. The motor, it's a whole complete unit for $10,000. And he thinks because we can get them cheaper if he wants to buy like one a year. So it's just for information only, the only question I had is what the warranty was on them, because it's a different company and, you know. And he talked to the salesperson and some of the tech supports, and they said that these new aerators are really bulletproof, so hopefully it's a good solution to fix an ongoing problem up there.
How many do you have overall, Brian?
There's 12 that they run constantly. I think there's 24 in the ditch, but there's 12 that run, they alternate them, so. Everything is so abrasive that it wears the shafts out, that's the problem. And unfortunately, we had some of the shafts rebuilt, but they're not, they don't last, they don't, you know, they're not as good.
They're not a solid shaft, they're
Right, they're a hollow
they're a
shaft.
hollow shaft.
I mean, if you're gonna pay $80, $100 for just a shaft, a rebuilt shaft, and of course, they don't make them anymore because they come out of Germany. So this new outfit is local, well, local, I mean, it's in the States, so. And instead of having the plastic floats, they're all stainless steel. So if you ever do bang one and get a hole in them, they can be welded, they can be fixed. I mean, rather than the plastic, you gotta discard them.
Is there any way, like shafts, have they ever checked like Kingsbury to make?
They've tried 2 different companies, and unfortunately, the balance and everything's just not there. It's just, they're so precise that, and they run at such a high RPMs that they gotta be right.
Yep.
So hopefully this new company will be able to purchase these new aerators, probably 1 a year, which he does have in the budget for them. So, just a little update, a little information. Like I said, I was concerned about the warranty on them, how long, you know, what their guarantees are.
Not only that, if you had a solid shaft, it'd be pretty heavy besides that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're pretty long and stuff, so.
Well, he showed me the literature on these new ones, and they look pretty rugged and pretty heavy duty compared to what's up there, so. They use them in lakes and ponds and wastewater plants, and it's quite a system. Last meeting, I brought up about the signs that as you come into the village, and I talked to Steve and Alana Lambert. She's one of the local artists that are within our village that are doing paintings. Right now, she's doing the paintings on the coffee shop, like murals. So they went and looked at the signs, and she thinks that she can rehab them for us. Clean them up, make them look a lot nicer. The only thing that she would like is for us to buy the materials, and she's willing to do it.
Sounds good.
Sounds reasonable, that's for sure.
The only thing is we would have to take them down for her, one at a time, bring them to her garage and set it up so she can just clean them and paint them and fix them, and then we would have the village crew reinstall.
Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue, I don't think.
That's okay with the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good, sounds great.
I don't think that needs a motion. I'll just let
Brian?
him know.
What was her first name?
Steve and Elena
Oh, Elaine, thank you.
Live
Lambert.
on the corner
He
of,
said there will be some expense for that too, I mean, depending on the materials, but I mean.
Well, it's just mostly paint, she, you know, like, there's some of the, on the center of the,
And don't get me wrong, it sounds like a great deal.
yeah,
I'm just
no,
saying.
no. They used to send them away to lower Vermont and have them redone, and it was really expensive.
But just put it as a motion.
Yeah, I think it should be, if you're gonna make a motion to do it, I would say it should be in a motion form, because of the expense involved.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll put that in the form of motion.
Thank you.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
My last thing is down on the Bridge Road, the old village sign that's down there. They used to be down there. There's 2 steel pillars that we never took out. There's American Legion emblem on it. There's a Kiwanis and a Rotary Club and a couple other old signs that are outdated. What they're wondering is, they want to come to the board, her husband Steve, and with a design project that they like to refurbish some of these signs. Like, take the Rotary Club one, they're all outdated, and paint like a coffee shop. And list like the local businesses on these big pillars down there to repurpose them. Because if you ever take the pillars out, you'll never replace them because the state won't let you. Because they're there,
Yeah, exactly.
Might as well utilize
might as well utilize them, and what Steve wants to do, Elena's husband, is he wants to come with a proposal to the board and give you a design idea of something that we can beautify that area. So,
Sounds good.
That's just for information only. I
Yeah.
mean, they seem to really, they like the paint and they got some good ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they wanna beautify the village, that's great.
You know, repurpose some of
Right,
the old
yeah.
stuff. I mean, it wouldn't cost anything. I mean, if the coffee shop wants to have one of them old signs painted as the coffee shop and remounted on there, it shouldn't be a problem.
Sure.
That's all I have for tonight. Oh, the moratorium.
Yeah, we can't forget that.
What's the deal? Do we have to have a public hearing for that?
You do,
So we should announce that.
you should, yeah.
For the next meeting?
And as a follow-up to that, yeah, probably the next meeting, as a follow-up, I did have an email from Wade Beltramo from NICOM, because I had sent him an email probably a few weeks ago, just following up on where he stood, because he was gonna give me some drafts of some local laws, not necessarily for the extension, but for the overall, electric boilers. And he sent me an email about a week ago saying he didn't forget about me, he was working on it, he hopefully would give me a draft or something soon.
For a law?
For the law.
For the law.
For the law.
So this moratorium is just gonna extend it for 6 months.
Correct.
So are we gonna extend it from the next meeting, 6 months, or I noticed that you have October 21st on here. So
I'm trying to think,
do we wanna extend it from,
I think we were staying to that date, right?
Well, yeah, because it expired on April 21st.
Right, so I think I factored 6 months to that date, but now we can put it longer, whatever the case may be.
well, I just wondered if the 6 months started from when we adopt it at the next meeting?
Yes,
So it'd be 6 months from that day, and
Correct.
then we can work on this local law by then.
correct. That's what I'm waiting on Wade from. It's a totally separate issue, correct, but I just wanted to let you know that I have been exchanging emails.
Because I was thinking about this, and I thought we'd have to have like a public hearing.
We do, we do,
Yes.
Even for a moratorium?
correct.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you put that on for your next meeting, that would be great.
So, yeah, so.
So I need a motion to
Yes.
Yep, schedule for the hearing.
schedule the hearing for the moratorium for the electric boilers.
Second?
Ryan?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that would be June 7th. Okay. Any other reports?
I just want to report that the tax bills have been ordered, and this year, because of COVID and everything, we were only able to re-levy the unpaid sewer rents as of April 30th. And that just went through on Friday, actually, so we had to scramble to get a list of the county.
So it's only the unpaid sewer?
Only the unpaid sewer.
Okay. Other thing, while it's on my mind for June, I am on a trip, so I'm not gonna be here on the 21st. Just wanted to let everybody know. Okay, anyone?
I got one other thing.
Yep.
I'd just like to congratulate the new company that's coming into the village. I think the whole village board welcome them.
It's really good news.
Yeah, very good news.
I heard about it in the hardware store the other day. Nobody said nothing, we didn't get nothing in the mail or nothing.
I didn't get an email about it until after it was already in the sun.
Whatever.
Any public comments? Yep.
Calvin Cologne, 47 Chapman Street. I'd just like to ask why we pay so much taxes to Champlain. You know, our taxes are higher for Champlain than they are for Rouses Point, and we have all our own services. You know, why is this continuing on that we pay so much taxes to Champlain? What do we actually get out of Champlain?
We are in the town of
We're
Champlain,
just
so
in the
that's,
town of Champlain.
the village is in the town of Champlain, so. That's the only explanation.
Why are we in the town of Champlain though? Can that be changed?
Not necessarily, no.
It's a very good question. I'm not so sure,
Well,
I don't have an answer.
A couple mayors ago wanted to make this a city at one time.
Yeah.
Probably be better because we're paying a lot to Champlain for getting nothing out of them.
That,
We have all our own services, we have everything.
I believe we had a vote on that, and that failed miserably. Nobody wanted to go through with it,
What's that?
Huh.
in the city.
becoming a city.
You have to have support from your state legislators
Right,
and
right,
your
right.
state
It's not
senators,
Yeah, we
and
didn't,
representatives and stuff, that nothing goes forward unless you got, because that is all done on the state level. And
because they got too many,
the
too much
village never-
feedback.
They never did a vote.
No, they didn't do votes, but
Yeah,
when we,
there hasn't been a city
Yeah.
created since in the fifties, I think, or something like that.
yeah. no. We did try at one time.
So
I
we
was
just
on the
keep
board at
paying
that
higher
time.
taxes to Champlain for getting nothing.
Well, we get sand from them,
How many loads?
well, probably 100 loads or so.
Brian? Do you know how many loads we get from Champlain?
On a hard year, I used to get 50 loads, 50 tandem loads. So on an easy year, it could be 25, it depends how much sand we went through the winter.
You know, is that a hard thing to do, get sand?
No, but I think a lot of our town taxes are also set for like, the landfill closure, and there's a lot of fees in there that we're responsible for, because we are part of the town of Champlain. But it is a good question, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, I'm not so sure there's a real answer to it. I mean, again, separate,
Yeah.
short of trying to become a city again or something like that, which obviously would be not an easy proposition and probably a fairly expensive one, I'm guessing.
I think it's because, I don't know, correct me, because we're chartered with them, so we're kind of responsible for,
Well,
because we're part of the town of
we're
Champlain.
in the part of, we're
You're
in the
you're
town of Champlain, so
Right.
that's why,
So we're kind of locked in, and
I think literally probably the only way to get out of that would be becoming like a city.
Why are we paying more taxes to Champlain than we are to Rouses Point? Well,
None of us really have an answer for that.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think
that's
it
something
should
we'd
be
have,
looked into.
that's something we'd have to ask Champlain more than us.
Because we don't answer to them and they don't answer to us. As like me being mayor, I don't answer to Larry, the board doesn't answer to the Champlain board.
So
they
we're
don't answer
separate.
to us.
yes, we are separate.
We're separate, but we pay more taxes to Champlain than we do to Rouses Point.
Well, then you need to go to their board meeting and ask them why you pay
Because
more.
because technically you're a taxpayer in the town.
Yeah,
You're
you're
very
a
right to
taxpayer
be-
in the
you're right
town,
to
go to
their
one of their
meetings
board
too and say,
meetings
why are
and
these
ask them.
taxes so high?
You know.
That's the best thing to do.
I mean, we keep our taxes so we can run the village, to the best of our
Right,
ability.
and we have all our own services.
Right,
I just don't understand that.
That's a good question.
That's a question for them.
that's, yeah,
it's-
we're all, we all
unfortunately,
don't understand,
right, unfortunately, there's really no easy answer to that question.
no.
No.
I mean, if we could answer it real easy for you, we would, and,
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think that's what probably spurred that whole discussion of becoming a city at one point too.
Yes,
I
Exactly,
believe
back
so.
in the day, so.
right.
I believe so. And so many
Do
other
we have
people
to
have
become
tried
a
to answer
city?
that
Can we
question.
become a town?
I don't think
I
it
don't
really
think
can
you
become
can.
a town.
I think the only way we could,
Again, that's something that the state legislature would have to support. I mean, because,
Yeah.
again, there hasn't been a town created probably a lot longer than a city being created. So probably pretty unlikely. I've never looked into it though, so I don't know.
There's at least 2 members on that board in Champlain that are from the village of Rouses Point, that live here in the village. So it would be a good question to ask them 2 board members,
Mhm.
because they're representing Rouses Point. I mean, they live in Rouses Point.
Yeah.
So it would be a good question to ask those 2 members.
And they're both nice, I've met them before. So.
Yeah.
Could it be looked into?
yeah, they're both
Yeah.
school teachers.
I think, well, I mean, I can't speak for the town because I don't work for the town, but I know probably some of their tax issues and then maybe the whole water facility or water plan they put into effect, which I know is very costly. I'm just assuming that, I'm not sure.
I think
I was told it's mostly to maintain the roads, because we drive on those roads, and the fixed cost of the landfill. I mean, I don't think they can charge us for their water and their sewer, because
No,
it's a,
No, I can't.
just like the fire
No,
department.
I'm just saying that's true, that's in their
Right.
tax.
They don't charge us for, like, fire service. They have their own fire, they have their own line item for
Right.
fire service up there, because Rouses Point has their own, so.
Yeah. They do have a lot of roads in Champlain, that's.
Yeah,
Does the
Yeah,
town have-
could we look into
the
the
only
tax
fire department I know
aspect
of,
of
the
it?
Village of Champlain, Village of Rouse's Point, and the town has one? Town
Well,
has
No,
one?
no, no.
it's part of the town, it's a Champlain Fire District, right?
Okay,
But on the town tax, there's a line item on there for fire protection and ambulance service.
okay.
See,
Because
ours
we do
is
have
all-
an ambulance service.
Ours is all generated into general fund, so it's your village taxes subsidizes your fire department and your ambulance service here. On like Moore's tax and Champlain's taxes, they have a separate line item, so when we get our taxes from the town of Champlain, we don't have to pay that fire protection or EMS protection, that's
They have the shared services between,
right.
right.
So the people that live in just the town have to pay that, we don't, so.
Because we have our own service.
We have our own services. So it is there's a dividing line somewhere, but.
Well, the town pays what, 2 taxes, or the village of Champlain pays 2 taxes, and we pay 3 taxes. Isn't that right, Arsen?
I think the Village of Champlain would have 30 taxes, because
Village
you'd have the
of Champlain, I
taxes
think
for the
has their own
village,
village tax.
taxes for
Yeah,
the town.
town,
and
village,
schools.
and school,
Yeah,
Oh.
Your village, you're paying a village.
Everybody
same
has
thing with
three.
us, we have, yeah,
yeah,
people in the town just have
All right.
the land and school.
correct. And it's kind of hard sometimes, because we have 3 different tax bills, but we've only got control over one. 2 of those tax bills are out of our control. Oh, thank you. I forgot, what was your name again, sorry?
Calvin.
Yeah, thank you, Calvin. Okay, any other public comment?
Make a motion for adjournment, I guess, recess?
Recess.
Recess.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Dad, I'll get you that contact information for the auction.
If we can use someone that's local, that'd be far better.
Yeah, like I said, easier to deal with somebody that's
Yeah, I
local.
remember years ago.
Nameless,
I mean, we went
faceless.
through that whole thing, and tried to separate that thing out, and I went on.
From Massachusetts. He just opened an auction house up here, so he's running both. Yeah, the city of Plattsburgh, we've been taxes
Well,
for
we've always,
3
we've
years.
always- we've always said that.
That's worked out very well.
And you've got my contact info.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, I'll get that to you.
Okay, sooner the better.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Because then we can just ignore option international. Or get the door. Have a good night, everybody. Stream, that's right, let's cancel that stream. And the camera.